Hello there, people of the internet. Today we are out here talking about my Arisaka Type 38. If I say Type 99, just not paying attention, I do apologize for that. This right here is an Arisaka Type 38. What I'm doing is I'm going through everything inside of my arsenal, trying to talk about history and development, etc., as to why these things exist. And I'm doing this in an effort to try and earn my way up to 100,000 subscribers. So if you want to help me out on that endeavor, please subscribe to the channel. If not, I understand. I will go ahead and try to earn your subscription tomorrow, because I am trying to put out one of these videos every single day. It does not always work out like that, but I am definitely trying. So our Type 38 right here is obviously the Arisaka that was adopted by the Japanese forces. And it was used very extensively, as we all know, during the Second World War and even the First World War, to less of a popular extent. So the Type 38 here is a 6.5 chambered rifle. This right here being in 6.5 Jap. I can't remember the actual ballistics of 6.5 Jap off the top of my head, but it was about on par with like the 6.5 Carcano and the 6.5 Swede. It was like right there, kind of on the low end of that 6.5 trifecta, if that's the word I'm looking for. That 6.5 variant of cartridges there. And this was pretty common for the time period that this 6.5 cartridge was actually adopted. The Type 38 actually replaced the Type 30, which had some shortcomings and some issues. You needed tools to disassemble the Type 30, and there were safety issues with case ruptures and gas getting blown back into people's faces, and it was just not all that good. So I believe by about the year 1905, 1906, somewhere in that time period, the Type 38 ended up getting adopted, and this essentially is a copy of the Mauser. Now, whenever you take a look at the actual action of the Arisaka, it's very clear the reminiscence of the Mauser action. Let me see if I can pull this out real quick. So we have our locking lugs up there on the front of the bolt. We got ourselves our long extractor on the Mauser bolt. We have ourselves our circular Mauser bolt face, and the rear of the Mauser is going to be a little bit different. Well, the rear of the Arisaka is going to be a little bit different than the Mauser. I called it a Mauser. So this is a cock-on closed system, reminiscent of the Mauser 93 action, with some aspects of the 95 and 96 going on here. So very clearly a copy of the Mauser action. Now this right here is supposed to have a top cover on it, and this right here does not, like a dust cover. This one right here does not have a dust cover, but there is a cutout on the receiver right here where that dust cover would sit in, and a little lug on the bolt where that dust cover would sit. So as you cycled your rifle, that dust cover would also cycle with the rifle to ensure that the dust cover does not get in the way of you using said rifle. So whenever 6.5 was adopted by the Japanese military, it was a little bit earlier than the adoption of the Type 38 here. And during this time period, countries were moving on from black powder to smokeless powder. Smokeless powder had just recently been invented, and countries were going from large, slow-moving rounds that were propelled by black powder to very fast-moving rounds that were now propelled by smokeless powder. And countries were thinking combat was going to be taking place at long distances, and countries were looking at rounds that were capable at taking shots out to these long distances, and a couple of countries adopted a 6mm or a 6.5 or a 7mm round, whereas other countries would adopt a much larger, much more powerful cartridge, such as the United States with the 30-06, or eventually the German military with the 8mm Mauser, and you know, there's some more powerful ones. The Russians had their 54 rimmed, the Brits had their 303. The 6.5 round was more or less, it was still a full power rifle cartridge, but it was more or less on par with something more like an intermediate cartridge. However, in my personal opinion, I would say that the 6.5 Jap round is still absolutely powerful and adequate enough to handle the things that needed handled for the time period. Now, the 6.5 Jap would be used what is that? Oh my goodness. The 6.5 Jap, there's something crawling on the tree. That's what caught my attention. The 6.5 Jap would see use up into the Second World War, and the Japanese were trying to replace it with the 7.7 Jap, but that is a story for whenever I break out my Type 99. And obviously World War II kind of got in the way of the replacement, so both 6.5 and 7.7 Japanese were used in the Second World War, and like I said, we'll cover that whenever we talk about our 7.7 Jap Type 39 Arisaka, which I'm sure I will probably break out in the next video on this series. Let me go ahead and break out one of my rounds. This right here is a 6.5 Jap round. This right here is actually a semi-rimmed cartridge. It's a 6.5 by 50, or is this the 52? No, 6.5 by 50. I seem to recall this sending a 140 grain bullet at about 2,000 or so feet per second. But I could be wrong on that one. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. I don't quite have that one memorized. Anyway, this right here is in regards to a lot of other full power rifle cartridges, an incredibly light shooting round in comparison to some other rounds out there. Now, I can understand why the Japanese, with their bolt action 6.5 rounds, felt underpowered whenever they were comparing themselves to some other smokeless powder cartridges that were out there, like the Germans 8mm or the United States 30-06. Or the 7.62 by 54 rimmed, or the 303 British, or, you know, insert your choice of smokeless powder round here that was significantly more powerful than 6.5 Jap. I could see how they would feel underpowered with that. And during the time period where the Type 99 was being adopted, it was becoming very clear that the Japanese wanted more power behind their rifles. So the Type 99 is going to be a really interesting story and a really interesting video, and I hope that you guys decide to stick around and watch that one. This right here is not cheap ammo to shoot, and boy, is it not easy to find. So yeah, I've got one round of 6.5 Jap. We're just going to go ahead and plant this into the car. I don't know, maybe I'll shoot the steel silhouette. I do kind of see it sitting out there menacingly. You guys probably can't see it because it's in the bushes. It's fitting that I'm shooting a 6.5 Jap rifle at a target that's just kind of hanging out in the bushes. And we hit it. I got a little bit of gas blowback in my face. This right here was a hand-loaded round, and I've been reloading these rounds for this is probably like the 6th or 7th time I've reloaded this round. Let's see if we had a case rupture or something. Yep, we sure did. Small case rupture towards the back of the case. So this 6.5 Jap round is officially no longer good. Big sad. Of course, I've definitely gotten my fair use out of those things. But that being said, with that case rupture, I did notice, I saw it, a lot of the gas came out of these vent holes right here on the top of the receiver, and that's what those are for. If you have a case rupture, the gas vents out there instead of blowing back into your face like I've had happen with a couple of Mauser variations. So that really did its job just there. I did not get hot gas back in my face, so that really, really worked. Okay, well, that is all I have to say about our little 6.5 Jap here in our Type 38 expeditions. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. There's a lot of stuff that I completely glossed over. I tried to do 50 years worth of history in the course of about 8 minutes now. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen.
shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.